Welcome to another episode of Albums of the Month, where I review the albums of the month. Why are you looking at me that way? Angel Olsen, big time. Sadly, I don't have much to say here. This is a very middling singer-songwriter album. The lyrics tend to do a great job in complementing the soothing feel of the records, but musically, it lacks a lot of substance. I had to listen to this album way more times than usual just to review it. Not because it has a lot to process, but because it's a very difficult album to remember. I wish I had a more positive outcome of this, especially because I think Angel Olsen is a super talented artist. But this album just came and went to me. Not even in the highlights I have much to say. 57%. Valley of the Sun, The Chariot. Despite having a rough start, this new Valley of the Sun album is a fun ride, and it might be their best record. Although again, there's not much to say here. It's a fairly standard stoner plus hard rock record, even if it succeeds in making quality music throughout. Highlights anyone? Regardless, if you like the sound, or even just want to start getting into stoner rock, I'd say this would be a good pick, even if not very essential. Still, I think this deserves an 80% superb. Porcupine Tree, Closure Continuation. The first Porcupine Tree album in 13 years. This is a big deal. One of the most beloved prog rock bands of the 90s and 2000s is back, and expectations for their comeback album are through the roof. And the result? It's no in absentia, I'll tell you that. A lot of what makes this band what they are, of course, is present here, but not at its best. To be fair, it's a pretty standard record for what we know from them. It has great songs, for sure, but outside of the fact it's their first in so long, I don't think this album marks a very significant point in their discography. The positive highlights are pretty neat though, and let's just ignore that one, and go to the score of the holy number %. Lupe Fiasco, Drill Music in Zion. More like good music in my ears. Hey, yeah, I'm single, ladies. Even though it's been years, I feel like Lupe's career is still burdened by the stigma caused by lasers. And with every release, said burden is getting lighter and lighter. And hopefully, with this new record, he'll finally get rid of it. With an album that's honestly toe-to-toe with some of his best material. I wouldn't say it's a very intense sounding record. It's charm-lazy in how subtle but embracing the beats are. And of course, the poetic lyrics. Shout out to this lyric from Miss Miro, one of my favorite lyrics of this year. That considering how far he's been in his career, it's amazing to see he's still spitting bars like his previous album was filled in liquor. And I'm really happy for him. There are many highlights in here, many positives and a singular negative. But that's very easy to forgive. Especially if you account that the renaissance of Lupe is reaching its apex with this album. And hopefully, it will go even higher with his future releases. 89% superb. Sasquatch, Fever Fantasy. Sasquatches are a great mystery. Many consider them to be a legend. Others swear their lives they're real. Regardless, in real life or in GTA San Andreas, there's close to no knowledge about them. But one thing I can tell for sure. They are great at making stoner rock. Now for real, if you ever listened to a Sasquatch album before, then this is very much in the same lane. Aside from a more polished production, this is the band doing exactly what they always did. But if the formula still works, I don't see a problem with it. And here it indeed still works. This is possibly one of my favorite Sasquatch albums in general. Positive highlights, negative highlights, 85%. Regina Spektor, Home Before and After. Regina Spektor, a beloved singer-songwriter that I had barely paid attention. Prior to today, I had only heard Soviet Kitsch once, barely returned to any of the songs, and moved on with my life. I decided to check this new album of her for curiosity, since I was hearing good things about her latest outputs. And this pretty much felt like the wake-up call that was necessary for me to take her more seriously. It's like she came at me asleep and hit me with a shovel. Fantastic, absolutely fantastic album, album of the month for sure. The strings are gorgeous, the compositions are stunning, especially when the album reaches its most intense moments. The singing is splendid, and the production makes me feel like I can become a unicorn and dash through the stratosphere, and complements her style in the best way it could possibly do. Yeah, I learned my lesson well. I'll keep my eyes more open for Regina. She just got me in ways that I didn't even know she could. Not even the negative highlight can take away from the score of 92% this album gets. Drake, Honestly Nevermind. Man, what a great evening. I bet nothing can ruin this moment for me. Oh, hello new Drake album. Jokes aside, I'm genuinely shocked about two things. One, this is better than CLB and Scorpion. Two, for the first time in years, Drake released an album that somewhat sounds different from the grey mass he usually releases. It's a lighter shade of grey. The house beats vary from middling to alright, but you're not remembering any of it after it ends. I heard this album a couple of times, and as much as I'm trying, I can't remember a single thing from it. I only remember the one song I liked here because I saved it on Spotify. And even that weak-ass Angel Olsen album I talked about earlier had more substance than this. So yeah, Drake's best album in a while. But being Drake, this doesn't mean anything special. It's still as flavorful as eating a spoonful of flour. 40%. Tatsuro Yamashita. Softly. A thing that needs to be talked about is that not only this is Tatsuro Yamashita's first album in over a decade, but also is his first album since the city pop boom that happened thanks to his wife Maria Takeuchi's track Plastic Love. I kinda didn't know what to expect going into this, since like many people, I'm still very new to this genre. But god, this is amazing! If you had no idea how city pop music would sound with modern production, this is right on the money as the best example of this. These are superb beat tracks, and a huge diversity of sounds are being explored. And when you finish listening, it really feels like Tatsuro spent the last 11 years brewing these songs to its finest. And despite the occasional weak points and the underwhelming lack of guitar solos, I do believe this is a fantastic late career album. These were my favorite moments, and these could have been better. But regardless, 89% superb. Weezer. Seasons, Summer. Oh shoot. 3 more months have passed, so it's time for a new Weezer Seasons review. I thought Weezer was going to be consistent for once and make all the season EPs bad. This one especially, considering how their last dive to talk about summer went. But of course, they had to prove otherwise in the second installment and made me look like a fool. This is a surprisingly engaging project. The lyrics rarely feel cringy, and the guitars have a strong body, and carry these songs very well. And pretty much, even the weakest songs in here are fun. But it has a song called Cuomoville, so 0% screw this EP. Psych! 83%! Post Malone, 12 Karat Tootache. Wow, yeah. Bold, beautiful, dark, and captivating. What a great piece this is. Posty sure gave us one of the best album covers of this year. Too bad the album it's attached to is pretty bad. What is with this weird vibrato that shows up in Post's voice in several tracks in here? It was so frequent, I legit thought my speakers were messing up. Plus, even if it wasn't for this putrid production, this album would still just be average. It's sad because the lyricism in here can be really compelling at points. It's by far Post Malone his most personal, and seeing these points being brought down by questionable production, bad hooks, and several duds only adds insult to injury. I'm not even sure if this thing's finished. Is this just a rough demo they uploaded to Spotify? Cause I think it is. These were the last ruined songs, and these ones pretty much got bulldozed. 34% superb if you put it kindly. Perfume Genius. Ugly Season. Pretty much every few months there is at least one super hyped up release that everyone loses their minds over, and I just stand there in the corner, staring. And this has happened again with this one. Simply put, I get it. It's experimental, it has some interesting sounds being put together, and I can see why the music nerd community is freaking out over this. I myself find it to be mid. Just a couple of moments of the album stood out to me, and I think the songs don't blend in all that well as a cohesive track list. Again, I'm left wondering if eventually this record will grow on me, at least this time I get the appeal, so I think the answer is yes. I'm feeling... 56%? Logic. Vinyl Days. Yep, not in a million years I'd expect a Logic comeback album to be this solid. But I think after seeing everything the guy has told in his Fantano interview, I believe this may be just the first of many more great records Logic will put out. The structure of this record reminds me a lot of a good old 90s rap album. Over an hour in length, great incorporation of the boom bap sound, strong energetic performances, and captivating lyrics that are quirky and witty at the same time. Sure, it could be a bit shorter, and there are indeed some underwhelming moments, but still, I consider this project to be an absolute win. Is this phrase copyrighted? I never really cared much about what Logic had to offer, but this album made me see the guy in a new light. I'm excited to keep my eyes peeled in his future output, and maybe even revisit some albums I missed in the past, such as Under Pressure, Everybody, and Confessions of the Dangerous Minds, and Supermarkets. Pretty sure it's gonna be as well put together as this one was, right? 79. 070 Shake. You can't kill me. I mean, I can try. When No 7 Shake released Modus Vivendi all the way back in the early 2020, I thought she was an interesting artist with a great deal of potential, which I hoped she would develop even further in her sophomore, which she did, but it's not the monumental jump to a masterpiece I hoped for. It's more like a leap to another stepping stone, definitely an improvement. Like the production of this record, it sounds a bit more organic than the first one, while still feeling futuristic. And in general, the songs are also better, yet still with a few duds in tracklist. I'm not mad this album didn't match my expectations. Some artists take time to fully develop, and I'm still hopeful she's going to release a legendary record soon enough. Let's just wait for her to truly get the hang out of this. 78% superb. It's collage time, and now it's my dinner time. Excuse me guys, cause it's weekend and I'm gonna shove myself a shitload of pizza rolls. Bye!